Hello everyone, this is Mahesh again with the AZ-103 course. From a long time, I've been thinking of doing the whole course by itself, doing the courses for PowerShell, Azure, and all other different Microsoft technologies, as well as AWS as well. But due to time constraint, I wasn't able to do that. But now I have decided that I will do it for the benefit of all those people who wanted to make their career in IT or who are already in IT but wanted to shift to cloud or other emerging technologies. I've been extensively working on different projects, which includes not just infrastructure but DevOps and other new things which are emerging, such as Machine Learning Studio. So a lot of information I have gathered, and I'm more than happy to give those information back to you. So stay connected, share this with whoever is in need, and I will make sure that you get your complete course over here and you get your certification as well. In the previous video, I have shown you what all contents are there within this course. In this particular module, which is module 1, we are going to start with the introduction first, and then I'll show you the demonstrations in a step-by-step manner. So stay connected. Within a month, I guarantee you that you will be able to clear the certification, and in the next month, I truly believe that you will be able to land a job. In the description of this video, you might find a link which is sort of a feedback form that you can fill, right? You will find it in every video that I'll upload from now on. If you'll fill that feedback form, I'll give you I'll give you few things, such as this PPT, the official course book for this course, and I will show you the documentation on Microsoft website, which you can go through and have a look at. So all this information I will give to you if you click on that description. Every video from now onwards will have that description. Alright guys, so without any further ado, we'll start with AZ-103T00A Module 01 Azure Administration. In this module, we have 4 lessons. The first one is Azure Portal and Cloud Shell. The second one is Azure PowerShell and CLI. The third one is Resource Manager, and the fourth one is ARM template. Each lesson I will cover in one YouTube video. So for the next lesson, I will be creating another YouTube video. There will be a lot of people from India who will be watching this, and there are people which all over the globe who watches my video as well. So if you are not able to understand anything in here, or if you think you might want to understand a particular concept in Hindi, right? Because maybe you're not that much good enough in English, which is absolutely fine with me, because not everyone is excellent in English. That is fine. But if you're not able to understand something in English and you want me to explain it in Hindi, I will also do that. Just mention it within the comments so that I can actually make you understand in your regional language. So the first lesson is Azure Portal and Cloud Shell. Few things before we start this lesson. First of all, you should have an Azure account up and running. How to create an Azure free account? Check my previous videos. I have already described how to create a free account. That's very much necessary for this course, right? The second thing that you need is a subscription. So that will automatically come once you have a free account with you. You should have a laptop with internet enabled on it. There should be no restrictions over there. And your computer should have preferably Windows 10 installed on it. If you do not have Windows installed, Windows 7 and 8 will also do, but I would recommend that start with a computer which has Windows 10 within it. Alright, so these are the basic things that you should have on your system. Let's start with lesson 1, which is Azure Portal and Cloud Shell. So what is Azure Portal and Cloud Shell? Once you start with Azure, there are 2 things which are there in Azure from where you can actually work on the Azure environment. So by default, majority of the people works on the Azure Portal. What is an Azure Portal? Let's see what is an Azure Portal. An Azure Portal will appear to you something like this. The image that you are seeing on the right hand side, that's what your Azure Portal is. An Azure portal is a graphical user interface. That means if you want to work on Azure, this is the first thing that you will go to. You will understand how to work on this portal, and it provides you a graphical user interface where you can search for resources, services, and docs. I will explain to you what are resources, what are services, and what are documentations. You will also manage resources on this portal, create customized dashboards and favorites. You can do that on the Azure portal itself. In Azure portal, there is something which is known as dashboards and favorites. So dashboard is just like your desktop on your system. Similar to that, we have a dashboard on Azure portal. In the dashboard, you can add your favorites. Which services are your favorite? Which resources are your favorite? By services and resources, I mean virtual machines, Azure SQL database, web applications, and all other things, right? You can access the Cloud Shell from the portal, and you can also receive notification in here. So let's check them one by one. How do we access them? So this is my Azure portal. You should be logged in with your account in here. So like I said, check my previous video how to create a free account and you will be there. The first thing that you need to check once you are done with your free account creation is that you go to this search button over here. You can search for anything which is available on your portal from this search button. For example, I want to check my subscription. So I will go to subscription. This key sign indicates a subscription that I might have. So I will click on this key sign. If you do not know about subscription as of now, that is fine. In the subscription name, you see Azure Pass sponsorship. In your case, it will be Azure free account or something else, right? It shouldn't be Azure Pass because Azure Pass is provided to only Microsoft certified trainers. So make sure you have a subscription added over here. Okay. Mostly it will be Azure free account or something like that. And make sure it has a status which shows active. These are the two things that you need to check. If you do not see anything written within the subscription name, that means your free account was not created successfully. And if it doesn't show status as active, that means you are not able to create anything on Azure. So be very sure about how to create a subscription, how to create a free account on Azure. Then you have on the left hand side, you see this pane. This pane is by default created for you, right? And in this pane, you have two options. It is divided into two options, the upper portion and the lower portion. The lower portion is your favorites. I'll tell you what favorites are. The upper portion allows you to do four things: create a resource, homepage, dashboard, and all services. You can also minimize this by clicking on this double arrow button. All right, so let's see what create a resource does. Create a resource simply allows you to create anything that you want on Azure. For example, if I want to create a virtual machine, I will simply type in here virtual machine and it gives me a lot of options which I want to create. Similarly, if I want to create an Azure SQL database, I can do this from here. I can select any Azure SQL database service. So if you want to create a new resource, that's what you will do from the create a resource button. We'll talk about this in detail later on, but this is your go-to button whenever you want to create something new. Now this is the home page. Home page is just like your, everybody knows what a home page is, right? A home page is the first page that will be displayed to you once you log into this portal. So once you go to portal.azure.com, this is the home page that you will see, okay? All your recent resources will be available to you in here. So if you have just created a virtual machine, a small link of that virtual machine will be created in here. Then there is dashboard. Now what are dashboards? Dashboards are like, just like you have desktop in your Windows machine, similar to that we have dashboards in Azure portal. In dashboard, you can pin those resources which you very frequently use. So let's suppose you are using a virtual machine almost every day. You do not want to search for it. You want a shortcut that you might have on your dashboard and you can simply click on it and you can go to that resource. Those kind of shortcuts you can create. You can simply pin that resource over here. And then you have all services, which gives you an information about whatever service is available on Azure, what all services are available on Azure. You see in front of every service there is a star button written. A star button is also kind of a shortcut, but it is created on the left hand side of your pane. So let's suppose you want to use a particular service in Azure. You usually use a particular service in Azure very frequently. For example, you create virtual machines every day on Azure. So there is this virtual machine service which is available. Click on this star button in here and this service will be available to you on the left hand side. Okay, let's add some other. For example, let's say I do not have reservation on the favorites tab as of now. Do I? You do not see the reservation as of now, right? So I'll go to all services and I will click on this star button. If I click on the star button, it will be available to me on the left hand side, right? So that way you can mark a service as a favorite. What is the difference between a service and a resource? Services are the individual services which Microsoft provides to you with a particular functionality. For example, virtual machine is a service. Web app is a service. Azure SQL database is a service. Now let's suppose by using Azure virtual machine service, you created 10 virtual machines. So those 10 virtual machines, those 10 individual virtual machines are known as your resources, right? So understand the difference between a service and a resource. A resource is an individual implementation of a service. For example, if you create a virtual machine, that created virtual machine is a resource, but the service that you have used to create that virtual machine is known as Azure Virtual Machine Service. Getting my point, right? Now there is this notification bar over here. Whatever you do on whatever activity you do on Azure, there will be a notification which will be generated for you. As we'll go ahead, I'll show you what all those notifications are, right? So anything you do on Azure, let's suppose you create a VM or you delete a VM or you update a VM, any activity, there will be a notification which will initiate as soon as you do any modification. You can check those notifications from here. There is also a button which is known as Cloud Shell. What is this button? This button is known as Azure Cloud Shell. Why it is important? See, Portal is good, Portal is fine, Portal is the graphical user interface that you're seeing, but sometimes you might want to run a bulk task, right? And let's suppose you want to make changes to 100 virtual machines at once. Maybe you just want to start 100 virtual machines at once. Going through the portal is easy. You can go to virtual machine and you can start it, but it will take a long time, right? To ease this process, to make that you do your bulk task efficiently and without wasting a lot of time, we have Azure Cloud Shell. Azure Cloud Shell is an inbuilt command line interface in Azure Portal. When I say inbuilt, that means it is within the browser. You're accessing it from the browser. It is not locally installed on your machine, right? It's an inbuilt command line interface within your Azure Portal, which allows you to write two kinds of commands. The first one is bash based commandlets. The second one is PowerShell based commandlets. Now, what is the difference? People who are coming from the Windows background, they are aware of what PowerShell is. PowerShell is a very well-known scripting language that Microsoft has been using inside their platforms, inside their Windows Server, Windows operating system, Exchange, SharePoint from quite a long time. It's Microsoft proprietary language, scripting language, which is used for a variety of purposes, for automation, for bulk tasks, etc. And similarly, we have Bash as well. People who are not much aware about PowerShell, who are coming from the non-Windows background, maybe they are good with Linux, maybe they are good with Mac, right? For them, Bash is the answer. In whichever version of Cloud Shell you choose, you have to know the syntax, you have to know the commandlets for that. So if you think your strength lies in PowerShell, you can run the PowerShell Cloud Shell from here. If you think your strength lies in Bash, you can go with a Bash in here, right? One most important thing in here, if you do not know the PowerShell, please learn it, because that will come a lot in the upcoming examinations as well. In AZ-103 as well, you will get a lot of PowerShell commandlets. So now you can either choose to go to Bash or PowerShell. I'll be focused on PowerShell as of now, but I will be showing you certain commands on Bash as well. Let's click on PowerShell. Once you click on PowerShell, for the very first time when you are creating or opening Azure Cloud Shell, it will ask you about certain things. For example, it will ask you, what your subscription is. An active subscription is required to create an Azure Cloud Shell session. If you click on advanced settings, show advanced setting, it will ask you which resource group do you have, what is your storage account, and what is your file share that you want to use. Now you might not be aware about resource group, storage account, and file share as of now, which is fine. Basically what Cloud Shell is asking for you in here is, it is saying that please give us a storage or a place where we can save some certain commandlets, or where we can store the session information, right? Because this is running in the browser, you might want to store certain information. So for that purpose, it is mandatory that you should have a storage account, and within the storage account a file share should have been created. If you can either give the information from here, or you can click on hide advanced setting and you can say create storage, and it will automatically by default creates a storage account with file share in an appropriate resource group for you. Once it is done creating that, I will show you what that storage account is and what resource group it has been created in. If you click on this option, it is by default created, right? Also, this Cloud Shell, if you do not work on this for let's say for 20 minutes, it goes into a timeout state. So if you just leave your Cloud Shell running and you do not work on it, it will go inside the timed out state, and then you have to reinitiate it just to work on it. Okay, so cannot create, subscription wasn't found. Let me check. Maybe I just have to refresh this page. I've just created my subscription, so that is fine. You might get an error sometimes. So go to Cloud Shell again, click on PowerShell, and click on Create Storage. Wait for a while. Alright, so once this PowerShell PowerShell session inside your Azure Cloud Shell is created, you can then execute any PowerShell command that you want within it, right? So you can see that as of now, a resource group with the name of Cloud Shell Storage Central India has been created for me. By default, a storage account is also created, and within the storage account, a file share is also created, which you can see from here, right? Okay, so this is fine now. Let's go ahead and let's run certain commandlets. The PowerShell session that you are running inside Cloud Shell, there is one important thing that you need to know about it. You do not have to authenticate to Azure inside this PowerShell. Why? Because it is initiated from the browser and you are already authenticated on the browser in here. But if you go to your desktop and you run your desktop version of PowerShell, you have to authenticate first to Azure. And I'll show you how to do that as well. So this is your PowerShell and you can execute any command in here. One of the command that I'm writing is get-azure, let me write it in here. Get-az VM, we don't have a VM, so let's say AZ resource group, right? In PowerShell, there is something which is known as tab completion. So if you have written reasonable characters in a command, and if you press tab, that the command automatically completes itself. This kind of tab completion allows you or saves you from making any kind of syntax mistake, because the command is automatically completed. So if I run this command get-az resource group, it is going to show me all the resource group which are available within my Azure account. Now you might not be aware about what resource groups are, which is fine. This is the resource group that I have, right? It was automatically created when I initiated it, and this is the only one. So this is why I'm seeing this resource group in here. All right, we'll talk a lot about PowerShell commandlets later on. Let's also see how the bash works. So if you go in here and if you click on this drop down button and click on bash, you will switch to bash version of Cloud Shell, right? Bash version of Cloud Shell is also similar to PowerShell. The only difference is within the syntax and the commands that you are going to use, right? Okay, so this was your Cloud Shell that I was talking about. Let's go ahead. So you already know what Portal is, how to create dashboards and favorites, how do you access the Cloud Shell, receive notifications, etc. So this is not technical at all as of now. These are all theoretical in nature. Let's talk about the mobile application. It's not necessary that you will be always connected to your laptop and to the portal, Azure Portal all the times. Sometimes you might need a quick way to connect to Azure Portal. For that, Microsoft has created a mobile application. With the help of this mobile application, you can do a lot of stuff. Not all of the stuff, but a lot of stuff you can do with the help of it. For example, you can stay connected to your account, see what is happening within your account. You can also make sure you can check the status and your critical metrics anytime, anywhere, which simply means that whatever is happening on your Azure portal, you might have a view of them onto your app. You can also diagnose and fix issues using this mobile application. So let's suppose your VM is not getting connected, or you want to restart a web application, or you want to quickly check an alert which has appeared. You can do this with the help of mobile application. Not only that, you can also run command through this mobile application. So this mobile application provides you a command line interface which runs on an ad hoc basis and which allows you to run commands through this mobile application itself. Once you'll go to this once you'll go to your Play Store, or if you're using Android, or if you're using iPhone, or if you simply do a Google search of Azure Mobile App, you will find this application available to you, right? So this is Azure Mobile App, which you can simply download to your system, right? So go to Google Play Store. If you're I have an Android phone, so I have Google Play Store in my phone. So if you go to your Play Store, you will find this application available over there, and you can download it, you can log in, and then you can simply work with Microsoft Azure remotely from your application. So try this on your phone if you are having an Android phone. I don't know whether it is available for iPhone or not. It should be, but you can give it a try. But on you can say Android based phones, it is available. So do install this and check whether you are able to access your Azure account with the help of it, right? So this was all within this particular lesson 1. We are done with lesson 1 here. I've already shown you how do you customize your Azure portal. So that is it within the lesson 1 itself. In the next video, we'll go to the lesson 2, which is about Azure PowerShell, which is the desktop version of PowerShell, and Azure CLI. All right, guys, thank you. Stay connected, and I'll come up with a new video soon. Thank you.